Prodigal Scientist. Chapter 1, Why Me? The flight attendant just moved to close the cabin door when a man lugging far too many carry-ons burst into the plane. After turning around and adjusting his glasses, he focused down the center aisle to find rows of eyes turning away. Haltingly, he pressed down the last row to find his window seat blocked by travelers settled in for the flight. It seemed like it took him forever to reshuffle the puzzle pieces, sink into the seat, and the buckle to snap. After the plane pulled on the tarmac, the man in the aisle broke the silence. "Are you with the group headed to the NAS Symposium on Teaching Evolution?" No, I'm not," responded the man, who was visibly unsettled. "But I am a molecular biologist at the University of Alabama. The name is William Elder. My friends call me Bill." Quickly reached out to shake hands. "Oh, excuse me. I've organized this group traveling to Seattle for a symposium sponsored by the National Academy of Sciences. I'm with the philosophy department at Glendale College. The name is Michael Richardson." Then with hesitation he added, "Some call me Mike." "Nice to meet you, Mike," said Bill, but his eyes soon turned away. "I'm sorry, I should have given you time to get settled." No, please pardon me," said Bill. "I really do appreciate the conversation. I guess I'm just still in shock about some news I received this morning about my son. His college roommate called and said that Andrew suffered a stroke. I'm flying there to be with him. He's struggled with a congenital heart defect since childhood." "Oh, I'm so sorry. I don't have any children, so I can't imagine how hard this must be as a father." Then with tactful precision he added, "Is his mother able to be there with him?" "No, she's not, but I really wish she was. She died 2 years ago from liver cancer. She was wonderful at giving comfort, and her joyful heart was so encouraging. It was clear to everyone that Jesus was with her in life and death. We miss her deeply." Now it was Mike who appeared uncomfortable, simply responding with a nod and a smile, and then silence. After the flight was well underway, Bill noticed Mike furiously scrawling across a student essay. "Looks like you felt like there was room for improvement in that paper," remarked Bill. "That's an understatement," said Mike with disgust. "This student doesn't seem to understand that science requires a naturalistic explanation. She insists that scientific evidence does not support evolutionism, and that she prefers intelligent design theory." "Now, Mike," said Bill, "as a philosopher, I'm sure that you realize that the scientific method deals only with naturally occurring processes that occur in the present. Problems arise when historical theories are set forth as though they were scientific theories or even scientific facts." "Well, actually, Bill, I subscribe to a modern view of science as described by Thomas Kuhn in his seminal work, The Structure of Scientific Revolutions. I'm sure that you realize that practicing scientists are guided by scientific paradigms." Recognizing Mike's concern about his peer group all around, Bill continued carefully. "I wonder if we can agree that academic freedom is at risk when we allow science to be dictated by powerful paradigm groups." Mike shot back, "Well, actually, when the group is operating by the rules of science, the peer review process is self-correcting." After taking a deep breath, Bill responded even more carefully. "Have you ever experienced academic censorship?" "No," said Mike with a cool tone. "My administration affords me full academic freedom to set forth the truth as I see it." "The truth as you see it," mused Bill. "And I suppose that if I were to say that a naturalistic presupposition for science was unreasonable and unprovable, they would allow me to set forth the truth as I see it?" "No, they would not," answered Mike. "And why is that?" "As I said before, the rules of science only allow explanations with natural causes." "Well now, it appears that we have come full circle," said Bill with a smile. "And I'm sure you're quite right about my chances of academic freedom at Glendale, since that's been my experience at the UA as well. Still, I find it interesting that as a practicing scientist, in the last 20 years I've yet to conduct an experiment in the past, and I don't expect I will in the future. If either creation or evolution is true, they occurred in the past, and therefore they are both outside the domain of experimental science." Now Mike was smiling. "And I suppose that you are unaware of the evolutionary changes that occur every day in the laboratories of scientists throughout the world?" With raised eyebrow, Bill clarified, "If by evolution you mean those changes that occur through the reshuffling of pre-existing information in the DNA, then yes, I am aware of such changes, and in great detail. Those who propose intelligent design as an alternative to naturalism do not dispute that sort of change. What is disputed is a chance origin for irreducibly complex systems. Be that as it may, everyone should be able to acknowledge that scientists have never observed the macroevolutionary changes that were supposed to have occurred in the past according to the historical theory called evolution. Now, Bill, said Mike, we do seem to be going around in circles, and I, for one, get weary of such debates, especially when it's old news. So here, I wonder if I could take the discussion in a more interesting direction. The letdown of seeing a philosopher so casually dismiss crucial points as well as the very nature of science caught Bill off guard. Okay. Mike began, I really don't want to be unkind, but how can you reconcile your belief in a creator God with the experience of your own family? How is it possible for you to believe in a God who has allowed you to experience so much pain? Now, I'm not looking for a Sunday school lesson here, just your own thoughts. Bill was stunned by Mike's questions, since it was so relevant to his present situation, and he appeared much too direct to be insincere. His pen was actually poised to take notes. Slowly, Bill began to explain. Mike, the Bible teaches that the love of God was expressed when he gave the life of his Son, Jesus Christ, in order to pay for the sins of this fallen world. Our need is due to our first ancestor, Adam, who was created in the image of God and yet abused his freedom and so fell from grace in relationship to God. I've inherited a sin nature from him and have likewise fallen from innocence into a life of sin. Because Jesus offered his life for mine, by faith I may receive the gift of his eternal life. And when I allow my life to be guided by God, he promises, I will never leave you nor forsake you. Putting his pen down, Mike leaned in and said, Bill, I just said I was not interested in a Sunday school lesson. I attended a religious school as a youth, tried hard to believe it, and was even something of an evangelist right up until I arrived at Glendale. What I really want to know is how you can believe it when you know what God has done in your life is not good. Again, I don't mean to be unkind, but how could a loving God allow your wife and son suffer so much? Are you really satisfied that the explanation for all the bad things in the world is sin? Bill did not hesitate for a moment. Mike, when I speak of a fallen world, I mean a once good world that is now fallen, not just fallen people. It was not the sin of my wife that caused her cancer. It was not the sin of my son that caused his heart defect. The effects of sin are all around us, whether we see it in the pain of the innocent or the pain of the guilty. In the end, the only important question for those who realize that they are guilty is this: will I receive God's gift of forgiveness and eternal life? Mike stiffened in his seat. Personally, I find it extremely difficult to imagine asking the God of this world for forgiveness when I see so many innocent people suffering. Bill's tone softened. Personally, I find it impossible to call out to God for forgiveness and at the same time blame him. But Bill, said Mike, looking him straight in the eyes, haven't you ever asked, why me? Bill turned away for a moment to look out the window and then back again to say, why not me?